is what we're using, the repaired one. Decided it's the best option to do this. It's gonna be stronger than before. Whether that's a good idea or not, we don't know. The strength of this, it needs to be able to be strong going up and down.
A $6 million Bugatti Chiron Pur Sport lies wrecked, written off, and seemingly trapped behind a wall of restricted parts and factory control. But Mat Armstrong refuses to let the story end there. With millions watching, he takes on a repair challenge that quickly grows into something much bigger. Then Rimac and Koenigsegg enter the picture. Suddenly, this is no longer just one YouTuber rebuilding a hypercar. It's a clash over innovation, ownership, and control at the highest level of the automotive world. And Bugatti may not have been ready for what came next. The Chiron Pur Sport fallout. In 2025, a Bugatti Chiron Pur Sport, worth nearly $6 million, suffered a devastating crash involving a 1996 Suzuki minivan. The impact destroyed much of the front end, shattered the headlights, and left the hypercar unable to start. For most cars, a crash like this would already be serious. But with a Chiron, the problem goes far beyond damaged body panels. Its complex engineering, rare components, and tightly controlled repair process can make restoration incredibly difficult and extremely expensive. The situation became even more dramatic when the wrecked Chiron appeared on Copart, a salvage auction site normally filled with far more ordinary vehicles. Seeing one of the world's rarest hypercars listed alongside damaged everyday cars immediately caught the attention of automotive fans. Car enthusiast Alex Gonzalez eventually became determined to bring the Chiron back to life. But restoring it outside Bugatti's official system would not be easy. Bugatti reportedly considered the car beyond practical repair, and replacement costs were enormous. Even seemingly simple components carried staggering prices. A key fob could cost thousands of dollars, while replacement headlights were reportedly priced at tens of thousands each. On top of that, Bugatti tightly controls access to parts, repairs, and servicing through its approved network. That meant rebuilding the Chiron independently would require more than money. It would require creativity, technical knowledge, and a willingness to challenge the manufacturer's usual process. Instead of accepting that the car was finished, Alex pushed forward. And that decision would eventually bring Mat Armstrong into the story, turning one wrecked Bugatti into a much larger fight over who really gets to repair the world's most exclusive hypercars. The refusal to help didn't just frustrate the owner. It sent ripples through the automotive community. Fans and mechanics alike wondered if such a rare car could be repaired outside the walls of Bugatti's exclusive workshops. The sheer exclusivity had always kept the hypercar almost untouchable, except by certified technicians. With the manufacturer's cold shoulder, many feared this Chiron might become a permanent trophy of a crash, rather than a triumph of engineering restored. While Bugatti stayed quiet, the backlash started to simmer online in a low-key way. And, yeah, it kept pushing questions forward about repair costs, how easy parts are to source, and how much control a company really should hold over their vehicles once they're sold. The whole thing sort of hinted at a deeper clash. Autonomy versus access in the hypercar world, like, would a private owner always end up sort of stuck at the manufacturer's mercy? That angle made the Chiron crash feel bigger than just a car. It turned into a spark for a debate about automotive freedom and brand protection. Through all the noise, one name quickly rose up. Mat Armstrong, who's widely seen as the United Kingdom's most influential YouTube mechanic, became a kind of beacon for a lot of people who really wanted to see whether this thing could be brought back to life again. He's known for tackling harsh restorations and oddball repairs, so he wasn't new to massive obstacles. But nothing quite matches the level of absurdity in dealing with a hyper-rare Bugatti. His involvement was about to change the tone of the story into something more like a high-stakes showdown. As the auto world kept watching, An unexpected showdown was getting ready to play out, not only between a person and a machine, but between the old way of thinking and a newer style of car ownership and repair. The wrecked Chiron wasn't simply a damaged hypercar, it became the symbol of a struggle over who gets control, what counts as innovation, and who actually holds the keys for the next chapter in supercar restoration. Mat's decision to take on what Bugatti rejected was just the beginning, revealing a fight that went far beyond fixing a wreck. Mat Armstrong's bold challenge.
Now, this is important that we talk it, because we need every bolt tightened correctly the same. Because if this sits on slightly like that and it starts spinning around, it's going to go crazy with it. So we need it to sit exactly.
Mat Armstrong had already built a reputation as a fearless and skilled mechanic, famous for documenting daring repairs on some of the world's most desirable cars. From Lamborghinis to Aston Martins, he brought a hands-on energy that mixed technical expertise with a relatable DIY spirit. When Alex chose Mat to tackle the Chiron's restoration, many saw it as a deliberate provocation to Bugatti, a way to challenge the exclusivity one of the world's most closed-off automotive brands maintained. Mat didn't shy away from the complexity or the risk. He openly shared the Chiron's state with his millions of subscribers, showing the gearbox completely destroyed and airbags deployed. One memorable moment was his use of an Audi A3's airbag parts as replacements, a move both clever and controversial. This Frankenstein approach, where parts from different makes and models were adapted to fit, clashed with purists' views, but thrilled followers who saw it as a breakthrough against gatekeeping. Despite his success with other luxury and sports cars, working on a Bugatti was entirely new territory. The car's engineering was extraordinarily complex, and every step of the repair came with intense scrutiny, especially from Bugatti's fan base and the company itself. Still, Mat's approach was simple: practical innovation over perfection, showing that with enough determination and skill, even the rarest hypercar could be repaired without exclusive factory support. Bugatti's reaction was unusually direct, almost too direct. Instead of the usual quiet pause or legal pushback, their leadership looked both cautious and on guard, as Mat peeled back more and more layers around the Chiron. The whole situation felt like it threatened their tightly managed repair rules, and it also brought up awkward questions about who can get parts and what technical details are even allowed to circulate. Mat wasn't only repairing a car, he was reshaping the story of who gets to maintain these kinds of machines. Then, Mat's work turned into a public standoff. Every new step he showed, every little record he posted, was like a quiet countersignal against the limits Bugatti kept putting in place. Still, it didn't stay just a hobby or a side operation. It started to look like a real clash of philosophies. One camp was the corporation, defending brand steadiness and exclusivity. The other camp was a mechanic, showing up for the bigger push toward clarity, room to move, and new ideas in how cars are cared for. As Mat went deeper into the repair, he also found roadblocks that weren't only about the visible damage. There were clear signs that Bugatti was actively slowing him down. That pushback didn't seem only about protecting the image either. It looked more like a strategy, designed to keep him from regaining control. But if Mat could work around those barriers, the ripple effects would go way past just one single Chiron. By then, the fight had become a high-profile showdown that people watched day after day, millions of eyes on it, waiting to see whether Mat Armstrong could outmaneuver one of the most powerful names in hypercars. And yet, what many didn't realize was that strong and surprising allies were quietly stepping into the situation too, setting up for a sudden turn, dramatic almost on purpose. That resistance wasn't accidental. Bugatti moved to block Mat using its most potent weapon, a vault-like control over parts access. Bugatti's silent resistance and VYN blacklist. Behind the scenes, Bugatti took a quiet yet firm stance against Mat's repair efforts by blacklisting the Vehicle Identification Number, or VIN, of the crashed Chiron Pur Sport. This move legally prevented Mat from ordering official replacement parts directly from Bugatti or its authorized dealerships. The blacklist effectively kept the car's critical components under lock and key, obstructing any repairs that didn't happen within Bugatti's tightly controlled service network in Molsheim, France. This tactic was more than a bureaucratic hurdle. It was a powerful statement of control. By blocking access to parts, Bugatti signaled that it would not tolerate unauthorized repairs, regardless of the car's condition or the owner's wishes. The implication was that no matter how skilled or resourceful a mechanic might be, without Bugatti's approval, restoration could not proceed within their legal and technical framework. Mat had faced tough gatekeepers before in the automotive world, but this was a new level of resistance from a company fiercely protective of its engineering secrets. The blacklist was designed to dissuade independent repair attempts and maintain Bugatti's dominance over not just sales, but the entire life cycle of their creations. This kind of control raised critical questions about ownership. If you cannot repair your own car freely, who really owns it? Mat's response was never to back down. Knowing that Bugatti would say no to any direct parts request, he shifted his strategy entirely. Instead of trying to fight Bugatti on their own terms, he sought alternative methods, turning to inventive solutions while broadcasting his journey openly. He would not be stopped by walls built from corporate policy and legal barriers. The parts control went beyond just seizing the VIN. It spoke to a broader industry problem where high-end manufacturers locked down repair access to protect brand image and technical secrets. For Bugatti, with only 60 Chiron Pur Sports ever made, exclusivity was a cornerstone of their value. Yet this same secrecy threatened to turn damaged cars into permanent liabilities rather than revivable treasures. Mat's breakthrough came when he started cross-referencing parts with other vehicles, notably from the Volkswagen Group, revealing compatible components that could replace those blacklisted by Bugatti. His adaptation of Audi A3 airbags to replace the ruined Chiron airbags was a prime example and sparked both admiration and criticism. Some applauded his ingenuity, others called it reckless. Meanwhile, Bugatti was forced into damage control. Bugatti's CEO publicly acknowledged Mat's enthusiasm but cautioned against his unconventional fixes, citing safety concerns. They stressed that replacing parts with non-original equipment might jeopardize driver protection systems, stirring a debate over innovation versus manufacturer standards. But for many watching, Mat's progress symbolized a growing impatience with gatekeeping, hinting that the balance of power might be shifting. This quiet battle over parts access was shaping a larger conflict, one that would soon expand beyond Mat and Bugatti. As Bugatti tightened its grip, an unexpected coalition began to form, signaling that this fight was about to escalate in ways few predicted. The unexpected alliances. As the battle over Mat Armstrong's wrecked Bugatti Chiron became increasingly public, two major names entered the conversation: Rimac and Koenigsegg. Both companies have built reputations around pushing hypercar technology beyond traditional limits, and their apparent support for Mat added a surprising new dimension to the story. Rimac has become one of the biggest disruptors in the industry through electric performance and advanced engineering. Koenigsegg, meanwhile, is known for lightweight construction, extreme speed, and unconventional technology. Compared with Bugatti's tightly controlled approach to servicing and replacement parts, both brands represent a more experimental side of the hypercar world. That made their connection to Mat especially interesting. Mat wasn't simply repairing another damaged exotic car. With millions of viewers following the project, his Chiron rebuild became a public test of whether one of the world's most complicated hypercars could be restored outside Bugatti's official network. According to Mat's account, Bugatti Rimac CEO Mat Rimac had encouraged him and Alex Gonzalez to purchase the crashed Chiron from Copart. The understanding was reportedly that assistance with parts could be possible, although rebuilding the vehicle independently would mean giving up its factory warranty. For Mat, that trade-off was acceptable. The entire project was about proving that independent mechanics could understand, repair, and even customize a machine normally protected by an extremely exclusive service ecosystem. But as the rebuild kinda moved forward, getting to certain parts reportedly got harder, and that alone fueled speculation that different factions inside Bugatti, or maybe even within its broader corporate setup, weren't thrilled about just how much support Mat was getting. Whether those internal disagreements actually happened, well, that part still stays fuzzy. But the uncertainty definitely added another layer of drama to the whole thing. Then there's Koenigsegg's connection, which pretty much reinforced the idea that Mat was slowly pulling in backing from manufacturers that are willing to show up in a different way, like engaging with enthusiasts and independent builders instead of treating them as some side noise. For companies such as Rimac and Koenigsegg, that kind of attitude seems to match their reputations. They've both done well by pushing back against conventional engineering and by refusing to strictly follow the usual supercar recipe. At first, it was only one YouTuber trying to rebuild a crashed Chiron, but slowly, it turned into something bigger, like a real debate about who should really control the repair process, the modifications, and even the future ownership experience when it comes to hypercars. And if manufacturers keep supporting independent builders like Mat, the biggest disruption might not be a quicker car at all. It could be a completely different relationship between hypercar companies and the people who actually own their machines, which is, honestly, a bigger deal than speed. With powerful allies backing him, Mat's tactics evolved beyond repairs, pushing the boundaries of what was possible through inventive, resourceful ingenuity. Technical innovations and DIY ingenuity. Faced with limited access to official Bugatti parts, Mat Armstrong turned to creative engineering, modern technology, and pure persistence to rebuild his damaged Chiron. Instead of waiting for the manufacturer to cooperate, he searched for alternative parts, experimented with 3D printing, and developed custom solutions that challenged the traditional hypercar repair system. One of his most surprising moves involved the airbags. By cross-referencing Volkswagen Group part numbers, Mat discovered that certain Audi A3 airbag components could work with the Chiron. While critics questioned whether using parts from a much cheaper car compromised authenticity, the workaround showed how many components across major automotive groups can share similar engineering. Mat also explored 3D printing after discovering that advanced manufacturing is already used throughout modern hypercars. Rather than relying entirely on expensive factory replacements, he investigated high-end printers capable of producing complex components, including metal parts. The technology itself can cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, but it demonstrates how future repair shops could eventually manufacture specialized components on demand. The rebuild required far more than clever parts sourcing. Mat and his team worked through coolant systems, fuel injectors, intercoolers, electronics, and engine controls. Eventually, the Chiron started again, proving that even an extremely complicated hypercar could be brought back through careful troubleshooting and hands-on engineering. Mat then pushed the project beyond restoration. He sourced an aggressive wide-body kit from Venuum in Dubai, replacing sections of the exterior with custom panels and aerodynamic components. The finished car would no longer simply represent Bugatti's original design, it would reflect Mat's own vision. The project divided enthusiasts. Supporters praised him for challenging manufacturer restrictions and making hypercar engineering more accessible. Critics raised concerns about safety, originality, and whether independent modifications belong on machines engineered to such extreme tolerances. Rumors also emerged that Mat may have received help from industry insiders, although the extent of that assistance remained unclear. Regardless, his Chiron project demonstrated something important. Modern technology, creative problem-solving, and independent expertise are beginning to challenge the idea that only manufacturers can maintain the world's most exclusive cars. Mat wasn't simply rebuilding a Bugatti, he was testing the limits of the entire hypercar repair system. As Mat's ingenuity reshaped this hypercar's fate, the fight rippled outward, hinting at changes that could rewrite supercar history itself. The shifting supercar landscape.
Bolt that on. This is where it's going to get a bit tricky and difficult. We've got to make sure every single electrical connector goes in the right spot, every single oil line goes in the right spot, and we've got to figure out.
The partnership between Mat Armstrong, Rimac, and Koenigsegg could represent something much bigger than repairing one damaged Bugatti. It may signal a shift in how the hypercar industry operates. For decades, Bugatti built its reputation on extreme performance, luxury, and exclusivity. But that exclusivity also comes with tight control over repairs, replacement parts, and authorized service centers. Mat Armstrong's ability to rebuild high-end cars outside that traditional system raises an important question. Do hypercar owners really need to depend entirely on the manufacturer? Brands like Rimac and Koenigsegg appear to take a more progressive approach. Both companies are known for experimenting with advanced materials, electrification, and unconventional engineering. Their willingness to engage with independent enthusiasts like Mat suggests a philosophy based more on innovation and collaboration than complete control. That difference could mess with future buyers' expectations a bit. Hypercar owners may start to expect more access to parts, repair details, and even modification options that feel more flexible. If companies show that independent repairs can be done safely, without hurting a car's overall quality or resale value, then other manufacturers might feel pressure to open up. Also, social media is kind of shifting the power balance. Mat isn't just a mechanic. He has millions of viewers, watching every step of these rebuilds, like literally every moment. And when manufacturers refuse parts or make repairs unnecessarily difficult, those choices can get exposed to the whole world almost instantly. Mat Armstrong hasn't exactly torn down Bugatti's classic business setup, but his momentum has made the cracks in extreme exclusivity pretty obvious. So the bigger fight now is old-school control versus a newer generation that leans toward transparency, better innovation, and more collaboration. Whether Bugatti adapts or keeps protecting its closed ecosystem remains kind of up in the air. But one thing is clear. Mat, Rimac, Koenigsegg, and Bugatti are no longer living only inside a repair story. Mat Armstrong's daring repair of a wrecked Bugatti Chiron has exposed deep tensions in the hypercar world, challenging traditional notions of control and exclusivity. With Rimac and Koenigsegg now part of the story, a new era of innovation and collaboration may be dawning. If you enjoyed this glimpse into the high-stakes world of supercars, don't forget to like and subscribe for more insider automotive stories.